Okay, spring is well on its way. It's now the end of April. I think it's about the 25th of April today. And so everything is warming up, everything's coming to life, and our vines are looking really good. Now, we were being a bit optimistic if we were thinking that these things were going to survive, these side shoots were going to survive over winter. And sure enough, they haven't. These are basically dead. There you go, you can see they're definitely very dead. The reason being is that the whole year was taken up trying to get to the trellis line here, and then just at the end of the season they sort of wandered along the lines, but they really aren't thick enough to really sort of do anything. So these aren't going to be of any good at all. But what we're really interested today are these buds up and down the stem. Now, we're really only interested in a few of these buds. These bottom ones here, I think people call them these are lateral shoots or water shoots or something like that. They're absolutely no good to us because we want all the energy from the roots to be ploughed into the top section here. When the summer truly arrives, we want all that energy to be focused in developing the top section here, and in particular we want two shoots, one to go one way and the other shoot to go the other way, and that's because we're using the double guillot training system, which is a vertical leaf wall system with two shoots going on the main trellis line here. So because of that, we want to get rid of all these water shoots or lateral shoots. I'll call them lateral shoots because I'm not quite sure if water shoots is the right term. But anyway, all these shoots down here, leaving these top two here. Now, ideally, we want to find some really good ones so that we can concentrate on these. So that's a nice good one there. That's a really nice one there. That's a really good one. And all these bottom ones here can be picked off. Now, you can pick them off just by literally just snapping them off, I suppose, like that. And that's what I'm going to do there. Now, the reason why we want three is just in case one of these fails, we've got a spare one in reserve. So I'm going to leave this one here, I'm going to leave that one there, I'm going to leave that one there, and everything else is going to go. And that means that all the energy is going to be ploughed into these top three buds. And then we've got a whole growing year for these to train along the trellis wire here. And when they get to about halfway, we're going to stop the growth anymore. They'll thicken up, and then all those shoots, all the buds will create more shoots, which will be held into these catch wires here. And the grapes hopefully will form at each union junction on the main trellis line. That's the theory anyway. So I've got a lot of work to do here because we've got 300 vines here, all that need a bit of attention before summer really gets going. So I'm just going to wander down the rows here and just make sure we've got some nice buds at the top and picking out the lower buds so that all that root energy just goes into the top section. So anyway, that's what I'm going to go on with now. The other thing which we need to do is we just need to get rid of these dead bits here. You can snap them off, but the better way of doing it is getting some pruners and just snipping them off just above the top bud there. So we're going to chop that one there and chop that one there, and then that vine is completely done. You notice that this vine here, it's about a pencil thickness, and that's one of the reasons why this one survived really nicely throughout the winter. Any thinner than that, like these shoots here, any thinner than that, they're not going to survive the winter time. So that's why in the first year we're really trying to get this main stem up to a pencil thickness width, up to the vine trellis here. Some of the vines haven't done that. This one here has been a little bit weedy. It hasn't got up to the trellis line. We've only got it sort of halfway, but it's not a disaster. We're just going to snip it there. That's a nice bud there. That's another one there. We'll keep that one as reserve, and we'll just pick off the other side shoots there. Now really we're just wanting this one to continue growing up until we get to the main trellis line up there. So these ones here perhaps can be picked off later on in the year, but that's a really nice bud just coming. Now, like a complete idiot, I've left the pruners back at the house. Right, got my pruners now. So going back to this one, all this is dead, and so we're just going to cut there, and we're going to cut there, get rid of that little thing, whoops, get rid of pruners aren't very good. And then that one's done until the summer, and we might have to do a little bit more pruning when summer comes around, because some of these buds might need a bit more attention lower down, and we'll just see the health of these two buds and determine whether we actually have to go back to our reserve bud, which is a little bit lower down. So that's that one. Some of these are just going to be pretty standard as I walk along, but other ones won't be, and so when we get to a slightly unusual one, we'll stop and have a think about what we're going to do with that. So let's keep on going. This one here, this one is dead up to there, so we can get rid of that. We're going to have, really, this is a pretty of a dodgy one really. We want this one to go much higher, so we want all the energy really to be ploughed into this one. We'll keep one in reserve there and get rid of these lower ones. There's that side shoot there we really don't want, and yeah, I'll leave that one for the moment, see how that goes a bit later on in the year. This is similar to the first one we had. This is totally dead up to that bud just there. So we're going to just snip that there. This one's dead up to, well, let's take it off there and take that one off there. We've got 1, 2, 3, and then all these lower ones here, God, there's lots on here, can just be rubbed off. But no, have I got the right one? 1, 2, 3, let's take that one off as well. And there's a funny little shoot down here which we'll take off as well. If I can get my pruners down there. Right, that one's done. Let's just take that one off as well. Again, similar one here. We've got some beautiful buds coming here. 1, 2, 3, and then from here downwards we really don't want them, so we can rub these ones off. There we go. 1, 2, 3. And I've just got another side shoot down here, so just got to be a bit careful with these side shoots down here, because we really don't want any energy, any root energy, to go into these lower shoots. They're completely useless to us. Right, okay, but let's find one which isn't so good. Right, here's one which is pretty poor. Someone suggested actually that rather than being root bound, which is what I thought the problem was with these some of these poor vines, was that maybe in actual fact they've dried out, the roots have dried out, which could be an absolutely distinct possibility. In fact, it probably is a better possibility, because of a few that I dug up the other day just because I thought they were root bound, I found that actually the roots were in pretty good health, and so I put them back in the ground, gave them a really good water, and we'll just see how they turn out this year. So this one, along with probably about, I don't know, 20 or so others, may have just been a bit too dry, didn't have enough water to really get going last year. We'll see how it goes anyway. So we've got a tiny little one down there. We've got, well, really we'll just keep these two at the top here, get rid of the others, and we'll see if we can get this to grow up the pole onto the trellis line a bit better. Now, Peter, I think it was, messaged me in the comment section that the glyphosate which I've used to kill the grass around these vines is it's a fantastic weed killer for doing this particular job. But what I was going to do is make the width a little bit wider, so it's easier for the mower to go up and down the lines. But he did say, and this was really fascinating to be honest, which I just didn't know, was that if you get rid of all this grass around the base of the vine, it actually helps with a bit of frost protection, because Peter was saying anyway that the ground heats up during the day in this sort of spring sunshine, and if there isn't any grass around the base of the vine, it helps just to release some of that heat energy overnight when the air temperature drops, and it just helps protect the vines if we have a late frost, especially for vulnerable vines like this where they're a little bit puny at this stage. So getting rid of this, this stuff is absolutely fantastic. And glyphosate, which is the weed killer of choice, I think, really to get rid of the grass around, isn't so susceptible on buds at this stage, because glyphosate works on the green leaves, as it were. You've got to be really careful, don't get me wrong, you can't just go liberally spraying weed killer around vines. You've got to be a bit careful, but it's a good stage to do it just before the buds really get going. So I might have to do that sooner rather than later. So thank you, Peter, for that. That's a good little tip. Right, another one here. We'll snip that one back. 1, 2, 3. and then all these other ones can just go. Now some people do this later on in the growing season. Some people I've read do this maybe in summertime when the side shoots are, you know, 10 centimeters long, 5 centimeters long, rather than doing it at the bud stage. And then I've read other people who say, no, do it at the bud stage, because then all that energy goes into the buds that you really want to develop. Who's right? I don't know. If you know better, then definitely put it in the comments, because I'm willing to learn, you know, about this game as well as anybody else. So, you know, it depends on who you read and you know, who you listen to. Some people say one thing, other people say other things. So you know, I suppose that's the beauty of the hobby, really, isn't it? But you know, this is all quite simple stuff, really. Just this is all dead, so we're not doing any damage there. Just look, we've got another side shoot down here, so we'll just get rid of that one completely, and the buds we'll just get rid of. Hang on, make sure I get the right number. 1, 2, 3. I'll get rid of these ones down here. There we go. Right, so anyway, just as I've been talking, I've probably done half a dozen or so. Only another 294 to go. So I've got my work cut out, haven't I? Anyway, we have more or less got the vineyard set up okay for the forthcoming summer. Now, one little tip which I would advise doing, I made a mistake in the grass that I chose for this vineyard. As you can see, it's growing really quite quickly, and I only mowed it about a fortnight ago or so, and it's grown up to a level that it needs cutting again. So this is a fescue grass. I think it's well, it's called a low maintenance amenity grass. It's fescues and other types of meant to be slow growing grasses, but I think, to be honest, I think they get done in the trade descriptions that, because it's not slow growing at all. It's really quite quick growing, not as quickly as couch grass or meadow grass, but even so, I'm going to spend half my time this year, I think, mowing grass, which is going to be a bit of a pain. It's a thin leaf grass. If you get a vineyard grass, which you know some people do sell, it's going to have the same sort of variety of grasses in there. So I would advise, I have got another variety of grass, which is a sort of a bowling green grass, or a golf course grass, that type of thing, for putting greens, and that is much slower, much finer grass, and I suspect actually that might be better for things like this, where you don't want to keep mowing grass all the time. So that's something to consider if you're just starting a vineyard, is choose the grass wisely. I got all this grass seed in the whole field here from a company called Boston Seeds, who are really good. You find them on the internet if you just look at bostonseeds.com or something like that, or just Google it. They've got a huge variety of different seeds, and there's loads of companies on the internet that will provide grasses for different situations, but I've got a funny feeling that this grass is much faster growing than they're letting on. But anyway, it is what it is. We're not going to change it now, so we've just got to get on with it. So anyway, I'll crack on and get this. It's going to be this is a short video, I'm afraid, this time, because it's just talking specifically about nipping buds off in springtime, which it is now. So that's probably it for this video, just a short one today, just on pruning and nipping out the buds ready for summer and the growing season that's going to hopefully be not too far away. Anyway, if you've enjoyed the video, then hit that subscribe button, put in the comments below your experiences of how you do it at this time of year, and I'll look forward to reading those as well. But until the next video, bye for now. There are a few pleasures in life that are actually better than sitting in a vineyard in the nice, warm, sort of late evening sunshine of late spring, I suppose it is now, and just looking over the gorgeous Herefordshire countryside with a pathetic dog sitting on your lap. All we need now is a glass of wine.